For the last couple of years, we have seen the highest rate of illegal immigrants come straight through our borders and into our communities. Because of that, we have seen crime skyrocket, most notably in February when we saw a woman named Laken Riley, a medical student, go for a jog around her very campus, when all of a sudden, an illegal immigrant came up to her and killed her. Just this week, we saw another illegal that was wanted for killing someone else in Mexico come into our great country and found two teenagers walking down a hiking path and forced them off the path with a machete. He then tied down both of the teenagers and continued to rape the girl and then assault the teenage guy. The most telling thing is that because of the fact that these people are illegal immigrants, there is no database or any DNA available for investigators. So that makes it that much harder to find and locate these very people. The only solution to this madness is to create more security and increase security at our borders and start protecting the people as we did under former President Trump. We never had this problem from 2016 to 2020, and it's utterly disgusting. With that being said, we're going to be digging into the Demetrio Cerrujo Show. I'm your host, Demetrio Cerrujo.
Facts over tracks, isn't that spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
We're going to be digging into a couple stories from the illegal immigration standpoint. So, the Biden DOJ has failed to deport the illegal alien accused of violent rape after a judge ordered it 2 years ago. So, obviously, this illegal immigrant didn't just show up at the border. This illegal immigrant has been here in the United States for the last 2 years. Or maybe even 3 years now, because in 2021 he showed up. So, an illegal alien accused of violently raping a little girl in New York City last week was ordered to be deported from the United States 2 years ago, but the Biden administration failed to remove him. The New York police arrested 25-year-old immigrant from Ecuador after residents beat him up and held him down until law enforcement arrived. The New York Post reported that a federal immigration judge in the city ordered him to be deported in February of 2022, according to sources at the Department of Homeland Security, the DHS. The report said that this guy illegally crossed into the United States at Eagle Pass, Texas, in June of 2021 as part of the unprecedented wave of illegal aliens pouring into this country under President Joe Biden. Yep, it goes all the way back to Joe Biden. 700 Pennsylvania Avenue goes straight to him. He entered the United States with his alleged son and was deemed inadmissible by the border agents because he lacked proper documentation to be in the United States. But were released with the notice to appear in the immigration court for humanitarian reasons. That's just stupid. Send them back to the country, get the papers, and then come back legally. That's what exactly should happen. This illegal immigrant allegedly ambushed, which I don't even think it's an alleged. People actually saw this happening, so the allegedly is like very, very light in the wordings. Two 13-year-olds, a boy and a girl, walking in a remote part of a park in New York Thursday afternoon. Armed with a large machete-style knife, the man allegedly forced the pair of teens off the path and tied their wrists together with shoelaces. He then molested the girl before stealing their phones and leaving the scene, according to police. Yeah, it's just disgusting. Residents beat this illegal immigrant so badly that he hid under a car on the street to protect himself, according to the video of the incident. CBS News reported that he got beaten up so severely that the police had to take him to the hospital before they could take him to jail. No, I think they should just send him off the cliff because you deserve everything that you got, plus more, for doing this to children. It's just disgusting. So automatically, you should not be able to go back to your country. You should be arrested, and you should, oh goodness. Since we don't have a strong justice system in America now, it's deeply upsetting that people can go and do this stuff. And that punishment that he already got is the deepest punishment that he will ever get. And it's sad because if we do send him back to Mexico or Ecuador or wherever he came from, they're not going to do anything about it. They're just going to say, okay, well, that happened in the United States. That's it. And then he's not going to get caught because he's just going to be under the radar. So if he does go to American jails, I think that we should just tell everybody in the jail system that this person targeted children and then see what happens, because people in jail don't take lightly people that do things to children. So I think that it should be apparent that he goes straight to jail, American jail, and then we go to the toughest people in the jail and we say, hey, that one touched children right there, and then see what happens, and then leave them, shut off the cameras for a couple of hours and come back and let's see if the problem was solved. That's what I think that should happen. Biden, this is another story from the Daily Wire, we have Biden rewards hundreds of thousands of migrants who violated federal immigration laws. President Joe Biden announced on Tuesday, that he was rewarding hundreds of thousands of migrants who violated federal immigration laws, which comes as he claims that he is cracking down on illegal immigration, which obviously is a lie. Joe Biden is lying to the American people once again because he just does not care about you. He does not care about me. He does not care about anybody in this country because he is a liar. Okay? He does what he wants to get him into positions of power in which he wants. So he runs over the American people. He disrespects the American people. He upends our political order that we have in America. And he does a plethora of other things to destroy our great nation's economy. And what does he do in return? He congratulates and rewards the people breaking our laws every single day. That's utterly disgusting. Biden's new policy will provide a legal status and a streamlined path to United States residency and citizenship to more than 500,000 illegal aliens who married American citizens and have lived in this country for 10 years. This action will allow them to file paperwork for legal status in the United States, allowing them to work while they remain with their families in the United States, Biden said. In order to be eligible, the illegal aliens must meet the 10-year requirement by June 17, 2024, or else they will have to wait for the next Democrat mass amnesty program. House Speaker Mike Johnson slammed Biden in a statement, saying that just 2 weeks ago, Biden pretended to crack down an open border catastrophe by engaging in election year border cascade. Now he's trying to play both sides and is granting amnesty to hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens, he said. The president may think our homeland security is some kind of game that he can play for political points, but Americans know this amnesty plan will only incentivize more illegal immigration and endanger Americans, like we have seen last week with the 2 12-year-olds, and now like we saw in February with Laken Riley, which we talked about at the beginning of the show. So it's just utterly disgusting that we, the American people, have to go and suffer with the consequences of bad policies and suffer with the consequences of what the woke elites in our system want to push on us that very day. So no matter what we say as the American people, we decline to have people that don't care about this country. We decline to have people that don't care about our law and order and don't actually respect us, the American people, in our country. Why would we ever sign up for anything remotely like that? It just does not make much sense. It's because of the fact that they know that if they grant these illegal immigrants this quote-unquote favor, then they will get a return on their investment by them voting for them for office. That's exactly what they think will happen. And it's a sad reality that for the most part, this is exactly what will happen. So yes, this is directly influencing in our elections. It's directly buying votes. When he goes and sends money to American people, it's a buying of a vote. If he goes and gets rid of student debt, that's making sure that the students that he just relieved their debt vote for him. If Kamala Harris announces a policy in which if you are the first person of your family to actually buy a house, you will get $25,000 or so, that's an incentive for people to vote for you. Even though your policy itself, your everything, the way that you govern is completely destroying the fundamentals of America. People turn a blind eye when you pay them $25,000 or so. They turn a blind eye, or if you allow them to come into this country illegally and escape what they already, the country that they have, even though they might be wanted for murder and stuff like that, then they will vote for you in November. So we'll be real surprised if these illegal immigrants don't try to then vote in our elections, even though they're not legal status at all. These legal status illegal aliens are going to vote in our elections. That's one thing. But then another thing is these non-legal immigrants, these non-legal aliens that just came into our country recently, don't care about this country, will still try to vote in our elections and then use a random person's name to vote because of the fact that there's no telling who you actually are. The person only knows the name. So let's just say you say so-and-so from this house. Then you go to the ballot, the polling place, and you could just take their ballot because there's no verification measures whatsoever. Somebody could just take somebody else's ballot. It's just disgusting. With that being said, we're going to be digging into the headlines of the week. We have a Daily Wire article. We have court issues preliminary injunction on borders on Biden's Title IX rewrite. Stops it in 6 states. So, a Kentucky court issued a preliminary injunction on the Biden administration's rewrite of Title IX, putting a temporary stop to it in 6 states: Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia, Ohio, West Virginia, and Indiana. In a district court conclusion, it said that the United States Department of Education will be restrained from implementing, enacting, enforcing, or taking any action in matter of enforce the new regulations in those 6 states. Outkick noted, Biden's recent rewrite of Title IX includes protection for transgender identifying people, a policy that originally enacted in 1972 to protect women and girls. Tennessee Attorney General Jonathan Skimmerty released a statement about the direct decision, calling it a big win. This is a big win for the Constitution of the people of Tennessee, the statement read. We fought hard to protect our constitutional separation of powers, which ensures that the people through their elected representatives are the only authority that can make new laws. If the rule we stopped had gone through into effect on August 1st, as scheduled, the Tennessee schools and universities would have to let boys into girls' locker rooms and other private spaces. The statement continued. If the rule went into effect, our schools would have to punish teachers and students who declined to use someone's preferred pronouns. There is a profound change in the law that the American people never agreed to. The statement concluded that the rule was a huge overreach of the federal bureaucrats, and the court has the right to stop it. Virginia Attorney General Jason Merios took to X on Monday, celebrating the injunction on what he called the unlawful move by the Biden administration. Of course, and this is another thing that the Biden administration is trying to force, is that they're trying to force boys into the girls' locker rooms to do what exactly? Biden doesn't know. He probably wants to, I don't know. See, the thing is, for me, that's a weird thing. For the average American, that's a very weird thing. So, of course, Joe Biden is a very weird person. So, of course, he's going to like and support a couple weird policies. Weird to say the very least amount of word possible. But the thing is, guys obviously are stronger than girls. Men are stronger than women. So, of course, why would they fight up against each other? It just does not make any sense here, because of the fact that they just don't care about the rule of law. They don't care about the standard that we have in America. They only care about themselves and pushing the agenda that they think that is going to get the most brownie points when it comes to feel good leftist policies. Okay, so I already read that. So I'm pleased to announce that the court has stopped the Biden administration's unlawful Title IX regulations from going into effect in Virginia. Myers wrote, the Biden administration's latest power grab would jeopardize half of the country's landmark protections for a woman, violate the First Amendment, and ignore the clear text of Title IX law passed by Congress, he added. The rule should have never been issued in the first place. Virginia Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin praised Myers for leading the change. Virginians saw the rewriting of Title IX for what it was, an attempt to leverage federal tax dollars to impose a harmful agenda on parents and families, Youngkin wrote. I applaud Jason Myers, VA, for leading the charge in confronting the Biden administration's obvious executive overreach. Former Killigee swimmer and outspoken advocate for female sports, Riley Gaines, posted on the court's decision on conclusion and wrote, great news. Biden illegal rewrite of Title IX won't go into effect in Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, in Ohio, and a couple of other states that I already said. Tennessee, Virginia, Ohio, West Virginia, and Indiana. A federal court granted an injunction of Title IX lawsuit filed by mentioned states, Gaines added. This is a huge win. The gender ideology house of cards is falling fast. The Biden administration's provision clarifies the sex discrimination includes discrimination based on sex stereotypes, sex characteristics, pregnancy or related conditions, sexual orientation, or gender identity. The revision will force any K-12 schools or higher education institution receiving federal funding to allow boys who identify as girls to use the girls' bathrooms, locker rooms, and housing accommodations, while allowing girls to identify as boys to use the boys' facility. Yeah, which you don't see much of, by the way. I mean, nobody's really talking about this. How many girls actually pretend to be guys to go on the guys' team? It does not happen because again, this is because of the fact that they know that as a guy, you can go and get yourself farther by pretending to be a woman, because you could be on the last place on your swim team, but then you go on the girls' team and you're first place all of a sudden. So with that being said, we do have another article from the Daily Wire. We have Jamal Bowman reportedly asked local Jewish leader for a photo, and he wants to quote unquote show the world I'm friends with Jewish people, which is just stupid. So you're using them as like a little purse, a little display. I'm good, guys. Jamal Bowman. Jamal, you don't even know how to open up a door. He's the one that used the emergency fire alarm to open up the emergency door. So it's just stupid here. Embattled Rep. Jamal Bowman, Democrat from New York, reportedly once asked a local Jewish leader for a photo of them two together so that he could show the world I'm friends with Jewish people ahead of the tight primary election in 2022. Jewish insiders Matthew Kenzel reported the story on Tuesday, teasing it with the following post on X. New in late spring of 2022, Rep. Jamal Bowman reached out to a local Jewish leader with an unusual request as he faced mounting scrutiny over his record on Israel. Do you have a pic of us? He texted, so I can show the world I'm friends with Jewish people. Under the headline that reads, no more bridges to burn in Jewish Westchester. Kazel reports that the Jewish leader, who chose to remain anonymous, said that he did have such photo, but opted not to send it for several reasons. First, he explained that while the alleged photo was taken at the event where Bowman had promised support for then President Donald Trump's Abraham Accords, by the time he requested the photo, he had already walked back his support. And second, the alleged request had simply made him uncomfortable about the nature of their friendship. Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay. So this is exactly what I was going to say. It's like, why do you think that I'm just a display that you could just put off to the plethora of people to get yourself elected? I'm not just some display that you could just show around and say, look, I have a friend that's this certain religion. See, I'm not anti-Semitic whatsoever. It's like, no, you're not going to use them as the display. And if I was this Jewish leader, I would 100% agree with that. I would 100% not send that photo, because that photo is going to be blasted, and then you're going to be looked at as this person that gets walked all over. So no, I would never do anything of that nature. If somebody was to say, well, send me that picture of you so I can show that I'm friends with Greek people. Imagine if this was on the other foot. Imagine a white person texts a black person, send me a picture of me and you so I can show that I'm friends with black people. Like, no, how about you just show your support by not being stupid? Okay, you don't have to be stupid. Jamal Bowman Jamal Bowman has the IQ of a chicken nugget and maybe a ramen noodle if you were to pick it up off the floor. It's not really a high IQ. I would say the IQ is about 20, maybe 30 max. Jamal Bowman does not really think before acting. He acts on impulse and he texts these people. How about you don't text so people don't have their records of this? Maybe you should call people. That's just for starters, but I think that it's better for him to text actually so we can see the stupid stuff that he does. So with that being said, I believe we have one more article to get to from the headlines of the weekend, and we'll get into the media's takes. So, Secret Service employee was allegedly mugged during a visit to California. Now, this is not alleged. This is actually reported by the Secret Service itself. So, a member of the Secret Service was robbed at gunpoint during Biden's visit to California over the weekend, according to authorities. Police in Tustin said that in a press release that officers responded to a call of a possible robbery at 9:36 p.m. on Saturday in a local residential community. Officers found a member of Secret Service whose bag was stolen at gunpoint, Tustin police said, adding that an officer involved shooting occurred during the incident. Tuscan police said that it was unclear whether any suspect was injured in a result of a shooting, but officers did locate some of the victims' belongings in the area. Authorities opened an investigation into the incident and shared the image of a suspected vehicle, which may be 2004-2006 silver Infiniti FX35 or similar vehicle. There is no known threat to the public, Tuscan police said. Yeah, there is a known threat to the public. It's this person. Okay. So even if they do arrest this person, if a Secret Service officer can get robbed at gunpoint, what makes you think that you have a cold chance in hell of not getting robbed? You, the normal American that does not have a gun, because California's laws are so strict. If you're just visiting there, good luck with that. You do not have any protection. Just like New York, I'm very good with that. What makes you think that you have a good chance of not getting robbed? If the Secret Service agent got robbed, if police officers are getting robbed, the highest police officers protecting the president of America gets robbed at gunpoint, what makes you think that you're not gonna get robbed at gunpoint? What, because you're not a target? Okay, you're not a target, but you're a normal citizen. You have no sense of protection. If they take your phone, you have no sense of even calling 911 because they took your phone. Oh my goodness. I was actually planning on going to LA last January, or I would say this January, so a few months back, I would say like 6 months ago or so, I was thinking about going to LA and going to Phoenix, but I never ended up going because my flight got delayed because it was a storm, I guess, brewing down that region. So my flight got delayed, and then because of the fact that it got delayed, I didn't have enough time to actually go there, so I just canceled the flight altogether. But I was supposed to go to Phoenix and then stay there for a few days and then go over to LA and then see the area and then go back from LA to Phoenix, stay there for the rest of the time, and then go back to where I'm coming from. But the thing is, I was talking to a few people that actually went to LA, and they were like, no, Dimitri, you do not want to go to LA at all. I mean, yeah, it's a good place. It's nice, I guess. The scenery is very nice, but the crime is out of control. There was a person that I was talking to that actually was using a car. He was just driving around LA. All of a sudden, he was using his son's car. All of a sudden, a homeless person came up to his car and just pooped on his car. So I know that he's not making this up because it would be no incentive for him to actually make up the story. It's just completely beyond me why anybody would even do that. But at the same exact time, this is California. This is LA. Some of the worst places over there. We see complaints from celebrities all the time. So I said, nah. So I ended up canceling my flight to LA. So I was just going to stay in Phoenix for the week. And then I didn't end up going to Phoenix, but I'm going to try it again this January. I'll try going to Phoenix. But I would rather go to states that I feel comfortable with. Like I went to Florida a few times. I just got back from Daytona Beach a few weeks back. Daytona is a really, really good area. Everybody's so friendly there. There's a lot of restaurants that I went to, and all the waiters and waitresses that I had was really nice, really talkative. The hotel I stayed at was a Hyatt, so I expected some really good quality, and I did receive that good quality. So very exciting things, but not exciting in the aspect of this crime that Joe Biden is responsible for, because he's making sure that our police officers throughout America don't have the means and the equipment to actually handle these people, and it's disgusting. So with that being said, we're going to be moving into the media's takes.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Moving right in, we actually have a CNN article. We have what could happen if the Supreme Court sides with January 6th rioters. Well, the same exact thing that happened with the 2020 rioters that actually burned down billions of dollars worth of buildings and actually burnt down regular people like me and you's business. The same exact thing. Absolutely nothing. And that's the thing here. People like to rely on this event, January 6th, as if it's the worst day in the history of democracy and blah, blah, blah. Okay, listen, it's absolutely not the worst day in American history. There's called the Civil War. That was actually pretty bad if you do ask myself. If you do ask me, that was pretty bad. 2008, the recession where people were actually eating rice every single day. They had no money for anything else. Housing collapsed. People were losing their house. People were starving on the streets. That was pretty bad if you do ask me. The war, World War II, where we were sending our sons to fight in that war. That was pretty bad if you do ask me. World War I, where we are also sending our people, that was pretty bad if you do ask me. Vietnam, that was pretty bad. So all these things in American history, that was pretty bad. And now you're saying that, what? A protest that turned to a little aggressive at the capital of America instead of actually what? Burning down regular people's businesses. That was the worst time in American history. Now, CNN, save me the trouble because of the fact that you are not in any state to actually be talking about other people because of the fact that your party is the party that burnt down buildings in New York, in Chicago, in Minnesota, in all of these different states, in cities, burnt down police stations, trying to lock police officers inside of it. You were actively trying to commit arson. You were actively trying to burn down businesses. People had to put Black-owned business, please don't burn down my business. And they were still getting their business burnt down to the floor wet. So it's just disgusting. With that being said, moving into something that's not better whatsoever, but it's very interesting to see their takes. MSNBC. So why the fake Biden videos floating social media are more insidious than they appear. So because of the fact that Joe Biden is just a dullard, he has no idea what he's doing. He's rambling. He's just going, oh, what's going on over here? What's going on over here? And he's just going around the stage, talking to people that are not listening to him. The White House is now saying that these are cheap fakes. So cheap videos that are fake, which they are not fake and they are not cheap. It is actually recorded on cameras that are on C-SPAN. So if you think that C-SPAN is a fake network which just live streams and has no actually reporters at all, then I think that you have another thing coming. So what? So the only non-fake video is what? Is the video you put out, that's the real video, and in your video that you put out is highly edited? Nah, save me the trouble. Save me the trouble, because I do not believe you. The American people don't believe you. We see this live on our TV and you say, no, that's not happening, guys. You flash us like the Men in Black. You're not gonna do this. You're not gonna tell us something is not happening in front of our very face. It's like COVID all over again. It's like COVID is happening and we're like, we're not seeing anything. And they're like, you need to open your eyes. You need to do the research. Do the research. Just what? And then if I do the research and I say, well, though, you're banned. You can't say that. What do you mean I can't say that? You just said do the research. I do the research. You ban my video. Of course, they're saying that they just want you to comply with what they're saying. And if you do not agree, then you need to quote unquote do more research. But you need to do research until you agree with them. That's what they're saying. Okay, so with that being said, we do have a couple more articles to get to on the media takes. We have a Daily Wire article here. We have Fauci says that Biden absolutely fit to for another term after criticizing Trump's missed opportunities. Okay, so the missed opportunities that Dr. Fauci is saying is what? Making Dr. Fauci president, because we actually made you and one of the highest people. We made you actually have control over us, the people. So what exactly are you talking about in this front? What more did you actually want from President Trump? What more did you want? So missed opportunities. So the missed opportunities is what? Forcing everyone to get a Fauci ouchie, forcing everybody to not do anything for 2 weeks. Is that your plan here? Dr. Anthony Fauci hesitated to assess whether former President Donald Trump is fit to lead, but jumped on the opportunity when pressed about Biden, as he shared assessments on how he performed as leaders from a public health perspective. The issue came up as Fauci, a long-term director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, NIAID, who advised both Trump and Biden before retiring at the end of 2022 during a CBS interview that aired on Tuesday. You've spoken about your relationship and about how your complicated relationship with President Trump could possibly be our president again. Given that you know him personally, from a public health perspective, do you believe that he is fit to lead all of us if he is reelected? I don't want to get into who's fit and who's not. From a health standpoint, he missed opportunities to use the bully pulpit from the presidency to tell people to do things in what would keep them safe. This bothers me as a public health person, as a physician who my only care and goal is the safety of the protection of the American people and their health, Fauci said. Yeah, that's complete BS because of the fact that he just pushed a vaccine that is not tested. He should know this, and he should know that the PCR tests that we actually used were not invented to actually detect that. You can actually look at the PCR test inventor, and it was only to look at cancerous cells in the blood. It was not actually to diagnose any diseases, because the disease strands that are actually inside of your body are microscopically small. So you would need to magnetize that on top of magnetizing that, on top of magnetizing that, on top of that magnetizing that, and then you finally see something. And then if you see anything, then that's a virus, and then you say that it's COVID. So, of course, when you keep magnetizing and magnetizing and magnetizing and magnetizing, you're going to find something. There's going to be something in the PCR test that they're sticking all the way up your nose. Obviously, there's going to be something. And if it comes back that it's quote unquote positive, then you get 2 weeks home from work. And we're moving into the last article now. We have Netflix's documentary on World War II refers to Nazi holiday home as Hitler's Mar-a-Lago. A new Netflix World War II documentary series draws a straight line from Adolf Hitler to former President Donald Trump when it refers to an Idilsen mountain retreat frequented by the Nazi director as Hitler's Mar-a-Lago. The 6-episode series, titled Hitler and the Nazis, Evil on Trail, purports to dig into Hitler and Hitler's rule and the Nazi rule in reckoning from pre-World War II to the Holocaust to the Nuremberg trials. Comedian, filmmaker, and documentarian Eric Abraham posted a clip of the series explaining Netflix's World War II documentary Evil on Trial describes Hitler's holiday residence, the Berghof, as Hitler's Mar-a-Lago. It's sort of like Hitler's Mar-a-Lago, if you will. Gave Hitler the sense that he was on top of the world without having to deal with the messiness of everyday politics. Yes, because Trump government used the Nazi term, the big lie, created democratic terrorism, organizations that encouraged citizens to snitch on each other, and jailed political dissenters just like Hitler. Oh wait, that was the Biden administration. Yeah, of course, because there's a bigger similarity between Biden administration and Hitler than there is a similarity between the Trump administration and Hitler. But if we're going to sit here and say that, but I'm not saying that. They're saying that. What I'm saying is that Hitler is an evil of its own that cannot be compared to anything that we have in America, because Hitler was an evil that we have never saw in world history, other than other dictators, maybe in China. And we had other dictators in communism and stuff like that. But the thing is, Hitler is the most recent form of that. It's the most recent evil that we have saw in the world, in Europe. And that's why a lot of people talk about Hitler instead of talking about other dictators that ruled over communistic states like China and North Korea and Russia, stuff like that. We saw so many other people take over, and we saw so many other people become more evil than Hitler. If that is a actual thing that is possible, yeah, Hitler was very, very, very evil. He committed a lot of atrocities, to say the very least. At the same exact time, we have other people throughout world history that committed greater atrocities than Hitler. And it's a very upsetting thing, and it's a very sad thing that it actually is a possibility that somebody can create more atrocities than Hitler ever did. Of course, nobody in America is ever close to what Hitler ever did, and that's very lucky for us, because if they did, then we would all be in trouble, and there will be a civil war tomorrow. So with that being said, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. We're going to sum up this episode here. If you did like this episode and you do want to see more, please like and subscribe down below, because I do post new episodes of the show every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening, and I hope they have a great rest of your day. Bye.